Please welcome to the stage Concordia's Matthew Swift and David Appel of Amazon Web Services.
All right. Well, David, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us for the 15th Concordia Annual Summit.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I have to tell you, though, I told my family this morning I was on the agenda on the same day as Elmo and Goldie Hawn, and I'm winning today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and what better way to kick off a conversation about AI than Elmo and Goldie Hawn? Yeah. So let's go right into it. I think that this is one of the most relevant conversations at the summit because the speed and transformation that AI is bringing to the table, the solutions and the opportunities that it brings to governments at this time. I think first, if you could, give us a bit of a U.S. perspective on how the public sector is embracing AI and technology, and then let's talk about some other elements of your portfolio, including allied countries around the world.
Sure. Well, maybe just to launch off of what you just said, we really are at a pivotal moment of the pace of the technology change that's happening. We've all seen it in the last year and a half, from originally talking about ChatGPT and Gen AI to now things agentic AI, and that rapid chase, exponential change. Couple that with what's going on in the world and real world challenges that we have, whether they're societal, military, healthcare, whatever it may be. Gen AI and AI technologies can really help us solve those problems. And so we're really at a point where we need to really have industry collaborate with business, with government, with nonprofits, and figure out how do we embrace these technologies and move forward. And certainly with AWS, we're leaning in to build that infrastructure and support those discussions. So again, thank you for having me here to have this discussion.
So when I think about your responsibilities working through bringing Amazon Web Services, AWS products to the public sector, where do you start?
Yeah, first of all, it really starts to understanding the use cases and the missions that our customers are serving. We start with our customers and work backwards from that. But we started building out infrastructure to support the U.S. government about 15 years ago. And for us, it starts with security. Security in how we build our data centers, security in what services we put into those data centers, the governance we put around those data centers, to have secure and resilient infrastructure that allows, and now even with Gen AI, that allows us to trust what's coming out and trust the data, trust the insights that we're gaining. But it also starts with a top-down approach of working with our customers. It starts with a CEO level type commitment to move into a transformative era. And then we spend a lot of time education. Education is really critical to embrace the future the current workforce and the future workforce. How do we make sure that the workforce understands how to use the technology, how people can adopt the technology, trust the technology, and then use that as a way to continue that evolution of future technology development and going forward. So a lot of time spent with educating, the way we build our services, and then working at the top levels of organizations to build that transformation into an organization.
And talk about, in addition to your U.S. focus, you are also very, very much focused on allied nations as well. How do you approach that portfolio?
It's very similar, but we also recognize that there's sovereign issues and data issues with how countries want to view their data and where it resides. But the underlying problems are the same that everyone's trying to solve. And whether it's government organizations or commercial organizations, we find that it's that last mile that is different. And so we have an ability to leverage our vast partner network, over 100,000 organizations we work with in 150 countries. And we find common use cases, common examples, and leverage those experiences from one country to the next, from one commercial organization to another. And as our CEO likes to say, there's no compression algorithm for experience. So we bring that from the U.S. to our partner nations, and vice versa. We learn things from our international partners and bring it back to the U.S. So it creates a flywheel for us.
You've referenced a couple times security, and I want to talk about that in a minute. But let's first talk about the responsibility companies like AWS take on when it comes to trust with your products? How can you guarantee to the public sector that is ultimately your customer that trust?
Well, it's really important, and certainly in this era of Gen AI and letting computers and machines derive insights and potentially take action. So we start with a very thoughtful approach that when we're, for instance, in Gen AI, when we're building foundational models, that we build in the principles of transparency, safety, security, governance into what we do. Additionally, we look to make sure there's no bias from race, culture, religious backgrounds, gender, et cetera, to make sure that the data is truly providing an independent view of the insights. And then we have also then used the technology to help us. We have something called Amazon. I'm sorry. No. we have Amazon Bedrock, which is a managed service that helps us provide guardrails to the Gen AI, and we use mathematical models to derive with 99% accuracy that the information we're getting back is accurate and is not having that bias involved in it. And those mathematical models are different than a probabilistic model, which is more estimating a potential. So we're continually drilling to get to 100%, but we're at 99% now, where what we're getting out of these models is accurate. And then the tools will continue to evolve, will continue to develop, and those tools will actually provide greater insights and greater ability to determine the accuracy. But as we use it more, it's a continuous process where they continually evolve and continually get better.
Can you give break down for us, though, some projects you're most excited about in terms of some of the public sector?
Yeah, so the great thing about this technology is that it's helping keep us all safe and secure. It's changing the way governments engage with citizens, and more importantly, it's starting to transform how we think about how governments are going to serve us all in the future to the better. So, for example, with the Department of Veterans Affairs in the U.S., we've been working with them to modernize their systems and migrate to a common platform for veterans to research, apply, track benefits that they're due to receive. And through the cloud and AI, we're now serving over 1.5 million interactions with veterans on a monthly basis. We've increased the system uptime for those interactions and overall system availability and a higher user experience. So just something as simple as that, for something where you're trying to get your benefits, you want it to work, you want it to be a good experience, technology is allowing that to happen.
Where do we sit? I mean, in so much scrutiny put on public sector budgets today. Where does this sit from a cost-saving perspective, or is it a cost-saving?
Yeah, so to get to AI, first of all, you have to operate in the cloud. You can't really get to AI at scale unless you're taking advantage of the compute power that's in the cloud. And if you go back to the original premise of cloud computing when it started, it was all based off of efficiency and driving costs down. So it's really a symbiotic answer to your question, which is the budgets aren't necessarily increasing, but we're able to take the budgets that exist and do more with them within the existing budgets. We can drive savings down by using things like the cloud, use those savings to reinvest in things like artificial intelligence to drive better outcomes.
Got it. And so let's go back then now to the security piece, because when I think about your job, I would imagine that one of the more complex elements, and you alluded to this earlier, is here you are, public sector in the US, major customer. Then you're talking to allied nations. But how can the public sector trust AWS to protect its own interests between different countries, even when they are allied nations? How do you navigate that?
It takes some time, but a little secret, we don't have access to the data. So we actually don't see our customers' data. It's encrypted. They control that. We have a shared responsibility model with our customers to protect protect the data and who has access to what. And so, when you're dealing with some of these governments, and it's certainly in classified environments, there's a lot of trust that you build up over time. We all sign documents and other things that we're personally accountable for things as well. But the security for us is day one in everything we do, and we take that responsibility very seriously.
Do you see a positive direction that we're going in when it comes to allied countries, that the technology and what AI and generative AI bring to the table can help really improve the relations between those countries?
Absolutely, because the technology is going to allow governments to collaborate more efficiently, especially in those moments when time matters. So whether it's a military conflict, a natural disaster, a healthcare response is needed globally, a natural disaster, the cloud and AI is going to allow countries to exchange information faster, to share insights, to learn from each other when minutes count. So when you think about today, there are times when it takes actually days, weeks, even months to process certain information. These technologies are allowing us to get to insights within minutes now. And that sometimes can mean a significant outcome depending on the event. And that interoperability is being enabled by the cloud and AI.
So you've talked a little bit about how we were talking just now backstage, and you were saying that we've got to really focus on the speed and advancement of technology today and not yesterday. Explain that.
Well, so look, AI is here. It's here to stay. As I mentioned a year ago, we were just talking about GPT, and now we're talking about agentic AI, where agents are learning from each other and able to navigate and have chats among themselves and to get to an insight. The future, I'll be honest with you, I can't imagine the future 2 or 3 years from now with the pace of change that's happening. And that is allowing us to just move faster, and it's here to stay. And we'd like to say the best time to start was yesterday. The second best option is today. And if you're not starting and diving in, you're going to, hate to say it, get left behind because we are moving out. The nation, the U.S. is moving out. Other nations are moving out. This technology is not going away, and it will make things better. There's a lot we have to learn. There's a lot we still have to work through with policies and diplomacy on how we do things like interoperability. But it is something we need to embrace and move out on. And I find all the reasons why to do it and not why not.
And you talk about those responsibilities, and in your view of navigating the environment that we're in today, is that something that needs to, that definition, does that need to originate more from the private sector or the public sector here?
I think it's a collaboration that has to occur across the private sector and the public sector, government, nonprofits. I think this is a shared responsibility for all of us to figure this one out and do it in the right way, but do it with speed. I think we've seen it.
But how do you do that navigating when government isn't necessarily supposed to operate or designed to operate with that kind of speed? That's the thing that I always, for a guy in your position, you have an incredible access and visual to the speed by which the public sector is moving.
Right.
But there's so much about the public sector that's never designed to move quickly. How do you bridge that?
I think what I've seen, certainly in the U.S., is because of budget constraints, as I talked about earlier, we are seeing a lot of activity now to embrace this technology faster than we did 2 years ago. And I think with the right leadership and the right top-down push, and in the U.S., the president has an AI leadership policy. That has certainly created a lot of momentum, and certainly in the U.S. government, to move things faster and to embrace these technologies. That has a knock-on effect then to our global government partners, so they can maintain some level of interoperability. And we have also leaders in other countries that have that same top-down push. So I think in the last year or two, I've seen a greater leadership engagement on the public sector side that has allowed for this transformation to happen. But it's got to get through the frozen middle and break down throughout the entire organization. And that's something we're working through.
Give me one piece that you are most optimistic about going forward with the embrace of the public sector of this technology, and give us what you see as a potential red flag.
What I'm really excited about what the possibilities are for it, for all of us as citizens in the U.S. or even globally. When I think about, we're working with the Allen Brain Institute and the National Institutes of Health right now to map the human brain and look at all the multimodal data that comes out of that research to detect diseases faster or to find a cure for Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. That's the sort of things that excite me about what's potentially ahead of us that we're not even sure what's going to happen yet. I think what scares me the most is that we get caught in this position of, I don't know yet, therefore I won't start. And if we don't start, we'll never get there. So that's but I'm excited about the possibilities.
All right. Well, David Appel, really, really good to see you. Thank you very much for taking us through this. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.